My name is Judith for Golden Skate, and I'm very happy to be here today with Kaitlin Hawayek and Jean-Luc here. Just yesterday won the silver here in Finland, and you're also qualified for the Grand Prix Final. So maybe you can start. How are you, and how are you feeling about this competition and the next steps?
Yeah, we're really happy with our performances this week. It was, I think, a positive step from Skate America. I think riding off of like a really high moment in Skate America, it gave us a lot of confidence going into this event, to trust in our training and our abilities. So we tried to really elevate our performances this week, and rhythm dance felt really strong, and then the free dance as well. This week we kind of agreed that these programs felt like focused programs versus those programs where everything just kind of falls into place into this effortless flow, but both oftentimes or both can result in a really good result. So we were happy with our performances and really excited for the opportunity to compete again at the Grand Prix Final.
Yeah, so you come there back after 4 years.
Yes.
Big changes in these 4 years, right?
Yeah, very big.
Okay, let's go. Let's start with your programs a little bit. I mean, we know already that your rhythm dance is inspired by a 50s sitcom, as far as I know. Maybe you can tell the viewers a little bit like which sitcom exactly we're talking about, and how you came up with the idea.
Well, actually, we didn't come up with the idea. Our choreographer Massimo Scali came up with the idea, and he really wanted to play off of our personalities, like you mentioned. Something that we really take a great pride in is showing who we are on the ice, and also our ability to play characters. So he thought the show I Love Lucy, the sitcom from the 50s, would be a really good kind of basis theme for us to build off of our rhythm dance, excuse me. And I think that we portrayed those characters, but we also kind of left it open after much more like work throughout the summer to kind of have it be a vintage style Cuban themed rhythm dance. Because not everybody may be able to resonate with the show or have seen the show, and sometimes something we've learned over the past years of our career is that when you take something so literally and people don't understand it, it can get lost in translation very quickly. So we really built off of the idea of that from the I Love Lucy show and have let it grow from there.
The free dance is a little bit more your style. It's also a little bit similar than last year's, at least style-wise. Maybe you can also share a little more words about the free dance.
Well, this year we chose to try to combine several styles that have really worked well for us in the past. So the two styles that have really helped us flourish in the past have been more of a contemporary style and a classical style. So when we were looking for music, we came across this neoclassic music that has a lot of elements of both styles that we really were attracted to, and something that we were really drawn to idea-wise this year was this idea of stop trying to find a style that works for you. And for us, we've spent our careers working to establish ourselves, and I think we can say that we have at this point. So just trying to take this idea that we're enough as we are and just let that show in our skating this season. So we didn't try to reinvent the wheel or look for something super obscure and different when we were doing choreography this year. We wanted something that we knew we felt emotionally connected to, and when we feel emotionally connected to the music, that comes across in skating as well. So that's really where it stemmed from this year.
You list yourself as a choreographer in your ISU bio. What part in the choreography do you like? What did you take?
Well, I think from the very beginning of our career, Kaitlin and I have had a really big say in the material that we're producing. We have a main choreographer each time, Massimo Scali, Marie France, other ones throughout the year.
Yeah.
But oftentimes the creation process, or the creative process, is a mixture of the three of us all together, working, throwing ideas out, putting them on the table, taking bits and pieces of what all of us kind of want to bring to the table. Because at the end of the day, something that we've really learned is we've done take steps from a choreographer and do that, and it always works, but it ends up changing so much throughout the season, and changes will always happen. But I find that the more input we're able to have to our material, the more it really resonates and it's a part of us that we're producing. So that is something that is very visual because it becomes so much more natural to us.
So you are training in Montreal with the Ice Academy there for already quite a long time, I think, right? So what do you like about the environment there?
What's not to like?
Yeah.
But I think the main thing for us is the environment that they create is something that is extremely supportive and healthy. They treat us like humans and as people first, and then they see how they can best support us to become the best athletes and people that we can be. And that's so vital to the way that they structure, the way that they train their athletes. It's people first, then athletic achievement, and I think that comes across in just the environment that they have, the energy that the people give off between themselves and between the other teams. It's extremely supportive and a very healthy environment. So I think that that's just been huge in allowing ourselves to really step into our belief in ourselves as athletes, because we feel the belief from our team incredibly.
With which other team are you the closest? I mean, you're all big.
my.
Yeah,
It's
it's hard to say.
It's so hard. I mean, no, it's too hard to say, honestly, because we have teams that we train with more often, because we Kaitlin and I don't skate in the mornings very much, and some of the teams will skate more of the morning sessions. So I mean, we're not close with any team. I mean, everybody is so welcoming there, and I think that's like a big attribute to the success of their school as well.
So you are skating together for 10 years, right? 11 years already. Wow. Do you still remember how your first meeting was, or what did you think when you first met one another?
Yeah.
I
do remember. It was at the time I was skating with another partner at the time, so there was a little bit of discreetness that we wanted to carry into the tryout. And I remember we went to a rink that I'd never been at, so everything kind of felt new and fresh. And it was one of Jean-Luc's first times to Michigan at the time, because I had been training there already a few years. And I remember being really nervous because I had watched Jean-Luc at competitions. He was a level ahead of me when we were starting out. I started at novice and he was a junior at the time. And I remember watching him, and clearly he has a lot of charisma. That hasn't changed in 11 years. And that was the same when I first met Jean-Luc. So I just remember watching him skate and have such a personality on the ice that I was very drawn to just a curiosity of what he would be like to skate with. And when our U.S. Federation said, like, hey guys, we think you guys could be a really good match, we'd like you to try out, I was intimidated and excited. And then it didn't take very long though. Within the first 20 minutes of us being on the ice together, both of us, as well as Jean-Luc's parents, who were his coaches at the time, as well as our coaches, were like, yeah, this seems right. And luckily it was.
And you thought, oh, little girl?
No, not at all. You know, I mean, I had watched her and she was such a little firecracker. Oh my gosh, like watching her skate, like she had the biggest expression that I've ever seen, like when she would do the paso doble and stuff, like the faces you could go see if you look back at some of those photos, it was fierce. So no, I was never thinking like a little girl at all. She was growing up. I mean, when we tried out, I think she was 15 or 16, and I didn't doubt it once, because I knew I was a little bit older, 2 or 3 years at the time, and like Kaitlin mentioned, it was within the first 15 minutes, like we skated around, and I think that I knew immediately. Like I was like, yeah, this is absolutely what I want to, like where I want my career to go, and like the direction I want to take it. I think oftentimes people think that the grass is always greener, but with Kaitlin, like it kind of hit all the attributes. We got along very well. Skating, I mean, she was phenomenal, like just as she is now, like skating ability, and very, very expressive, which for me was so important because, like Kaitlin mentioned, I have a lot of charisma. So it was somebody that would not only meet me at my level, but challenge me and push me. So yeah. So
I think what is very special about you, and what I always hear from fans, that you two have such a close and unique friendship, and maybe you can tell a little bit how this developed over the 10 years.
Well, I mean, we've been through a lot together, so I think that experience brings a level of closeness just naturally. But I also think that we've really worked hard on our partnership and the relationship that all that partnership entails. the foundation of that is respect. We've always respected each other immensely, and I think that we bring that into every day of training, where that's allowed us to have differences in opinions and allow each other to grow off of those differences, rather than find that there's tension or something stopping you from succeeding. You know, we're two individuals, and that individual strength then comes together in our skating. So the respect has been a huge part of that. And then I think it's also that we really like, our friendship is because we also allow each other to have our own space to grow outside the sport, and that's been really huge for us. You know, it is a business on what we do on the ice, and I think that I don't want to say distance, because we're not like, okay, don't talk to me outside of our skating hours, but we also really respect each other's lives and each other's space, that allows ourselves to come into the rink and be excited to spend time with one another and see each other at the rink every day and bring something new and fresh into the rink. Because I think that there are some teams that their entire life gets kind of jumbled into the mix of being a competitive partnership, and the ability to have two separate lives that flourish in strength and then bring that same energy in and funnel it into a partnership has really worked, and allowed ourselves to just enjoy the process being on the ice together that much more.
I think that's really a good point, because it's like in every relationship like that, you need space to breathe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good point. So, when you have a bad day, how do you cheer each other up?
DJ sets.
Music has been like a really big thing. More recently, I'd say music has been something that we share with one another. But I think that, like Kaitlin mentioned, we've been skating together for so long, and we have such a high respect for one another that we understand when the person needs to be cheered up. We understand when the person needs to kind of experience what they're experiencing and go through those emotions, or what they are going through. But at the end of the day, we both know that we are always there for one another. So I don't think that there's like a go-to method that either of us think of, other than just trying to be the most genuine version of ourselves up front with one another, and respecting that we're capable of experiencing all sorts of emotions. And I think that we just create the space and let one another know that we're there for one another, and most of the time, like, that's more than enough to be like, oh, okay, like, I'm not alone right now, and that's it.
Yeah. And she's a good joke teller, right?
Oh my gosh, don't, please, no.
Yeah, like anyone, if you haven't yet, check out her Instagram and you'll understand.
They're his favorite. I don't think that cheers him up, though. I think it does the opposite.
It cheers you up.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So like a little bit more serious topic. You recently had this video that got a lot of attention about a very unfortunate incident in Skate America. I think everyone there also can just check it out and watch it themselves on Kaitlin's Instagram. But maybe you can tell a little bit, how was the response on that video, and
Yeah, you know, it was a very positive response, and I'm very grateful for that. It's never easy to be vulnerable and talk about something, and I was just very grateful with the positivity and support that I received. And I just think it's great to continue to spread awareness and bring the topic up, because it's not talked about very often.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just grateful for the space to be able to talk about it, and hopefully we can spark some change.
Thanks a lot again for like being so honest about this. Yeah, you just mentioned already, outside of skating, you were doing DJing.
Yes.
Maybe you can explain this a little bit more.
Yeah, well, definitely since the Olympics, I've had some more freedom to explore it, just with it being a bit more of a post-COVID era, still being cautious, but not quite as secluded and isolated from other opportunities. I've tried to take some exciting opportunities within doing live DJ sets this year, and that's been really fun because it's another layer of performance. And even though skating and DJing are very different mediums, the performance side of it feels very similar to me, and it's all about interacting and making an emotion and an impression on an audience. So there's a lot of similarity in that sense, and I've always loved music. Like Jean-Luc said, like there's a way to connect so much through music, and I felt that throughout my entire career with figure skating. And I started DJing just because I wanted to know how to mix music to be a little bit more efficient in the choreographic process at the beginning of the year, and that's given me a lot of awareness and perspective on music theory and music composition and arrangement, which has helped us a lot in the process of creating our programs. And then from there, it just became a hobby, and I've kind of let it grow in the direction that it wants to from there.
And what's your music style?
Personally, to listen to, it's a wide range.
Yeah.
I can go from Frank Sinatra to techno, but DJing style I'd say is more house music, something with a little bit of dance house or like techno house inspiration. So it's kind of current.
Okay. And so where can people see your
Well, I mean, at the moment I'm not touring for DJing, so just
off season.
just local in Montreal live. But I also do put all of my mixes on SoundCloud, which is like there's a link in my Instagram.
Okay.
So
Good. You list as your hobby photography.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah?
I should probably update that.
Okay, then.
I should probably update that, but yeah, I used to take photos and whatnot.
Okay.
That is definitely an older one.
Okay, so what's the newest
The
one?
newest one.
fashion.
I'd say yeah, like I'm getting more into fashion with things. I really enjoy going to like vintage shops and just trying out different styles and things like that. Because I think it's such a cool way to like show another form of expression. And that's something that I'm really getting into more recently, I'd say. So
And he'll come like even this week he was at the coming to the rink, and I was like, that's a new outfit, and he's like, yeah, I got it for $3 at a vintage thrift shop, and I'm like, nice.
yeah, absolutely.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
He's got a good eye.
yeah, I'm into that stuff.
That is good. Those the hobbies. And do you do anything like job-wise out of skating? Yeah, you're going to school or
Last year I took a pause from my studies just to focus on Olympics and training, and we'll be getting back into that. But I have been studying for many years psychology at the moment, doing it virtually online through a school in the US. But I just think that the way people think and interact and communicate is super interesting. So I think it can be applicable to most any domain that I would choose to go into after my competitive career, whether that's coaching, business, psychology, like anything. It really covers life in general. So the human mind and the way that we think and interact and behave is something universal. So it's interesting to study.
What about you?
Yeah, me, I mean, I do teach sometimes some Zoom classes for dance classes online. That's a lot of fun for me, just to be able to like interact with people. I love coaching. Now, living in Canada, I cannot do that. But when we get a chance to go back to the US, like I do really, really enjoy coaching. Just kind of like spreading the knowledge that I've gotten over the years and like watching the youth kind of like take that in, and I get really excited to be able to work with that. So that's definitely something that I like strive towards, and it's something I want to do when I'm done competing.
So you're going to go to coaching.
Yes.
Dance, not
Yes.
skating?
Actually, quite honestly, like I mean, I'm really interested in choreography. I will not be coaching freestyle by all means. I didn't do it. But
Jean-Luc's definition of a jump is like one where you don't cross your legs.
yeah, it's a very 1920s style. So that would not be me. But choreography, absolutely. Just allowing a creative outlet is something that I'm really striving towards.
So you're interested in doing seminars in the future as well?
Yeah. Also, like hosting some seminars. So yeah.
Good. Maybe to close the interview, we haven't talked about your next goals yet. What's in your mind? Do you have any future plan next 4 years? Yeah.
We're taking it year at a time, so it's I think it's too much to mentally comprehend to think 4 years at a time, just because what you do one day to the next accumulates day after day, but thinking so far in the future doesn't allow you to be really present in your body. So that's something that has worked really well for us, is just to stay present on each season, let alone each day of training. But goal-wise, I think we're really realizing that we don't have to put a limit on what we can accomplish. And I think in the past, just based off of maybe being behind a historic amount of phenomenal US ice dancers, people, I don't want to say underestimated our potential, but their focus was elsewhere, and I'm really excited for the opportunity now to step into that top leading role as a US team. So absolutely pushing for US championship titles, world medals in the future, and it's a really exciting forefront of the skating future. There's a ton of movement and a ton of possibility, whereas in the past you'd kind of see the same two teams fighting for first and second, and then third and fourth, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for movement and for surprise, and we're really excited to just be able to capitalize on that, continue to focus on ourselves and on ultimately the root of why we skate, which is to feel an emotion and to hopefully bring an emotion to somebody else as well. And with that, allowing the opportunity and the results to speak for themselves.
Perfect. I mean, it was already great to see you rise and rise and rise, and we will continue to see you rising, I think, over the next years. Thank you so much for this interview.
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
good luck for Torino.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.